I've been saying it for months. This deck is actually really, really good. Hey, Nick from 9Card TCG, and today we are going to be looking at a locals run that I went to locals and I went 4-0 playing everybody's favorite, extremely complicated, difficult to pilot Arceus DURALUDON. It's actually an extremely easy deck to play, and I played it pretty well over this past weekend. Like I said, going 4-0 at my locals. I know 4-0 is not particularly astonishing, but hey, still took first, so that's fun. Thank you to everybody who came to locals at Illustrious Cards and Games, so that's really cool. Thank you all for being there, and thank you so much to my opponents who allowed me to record these games and put them up on the YouTube channel. Super, super kind of you all, and without you guys, I wouldn't be able to make this happen. So thank you, and if you haven't already, do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Tells YouTube this is a good channel and other people should watch it. I'm actually really pumped about this gameplay that you're about to see. So I have to, with the locals gameplay, I do like a shoutcast. I narrate what's happening as opposed to you listening to the footage live, because live would be a mess and just too much background noise, too much stuff happening, and I wouldn't be able to like censor or filter out things that I wouldn't want on the channel. So that's why I have to do it like this. So if you were hoping to hear just like unfiltered what it's like at a locals, I can't do that right now because you know, a lot of reasons. But yes, I'm really excited about this gameplay. I actually think I nailed it for the most. I probably made a couple of mistakes. There are probably things I could have done better, but still think we played against Mew, right? We played against Mew, Arceus DURALUDON versus Mew. A lot of people tell you that's a pretty bad matchup, and it's not the greatest, but just watch. All right, here we go. You see, I finished setting up. We got a Pokemon and the fist bump to get it going. Draw for turn. I have Arceus in the active, which is pretty good against this Mew deck. I have an energy, so I get to attach that for turn. It's exactly what you want to see. Having that energy to start is really nice. I have an Ultra Ball. I have a Quick Ball. I use the Quick Ball, get rid of a Stadium. The reason I get rid of the Stadium is because I don't think I'm going to need it. And now I'm really debating. First, you got to look through, before I go any further, when you make your first search of the game, look through your deck, see what you have, see what's prized, you know, right? We figure out our prizes by looking through the deck, by trying to figure out what we have, how many of each copy of card, what relevant cards. Like right now, I'm making sure that I have Drapion V, which is something that I am really going to need in this matchup. And I'm really just right now debating, do I want to get a Duraludon or do I want to get an Arceus? The reason I'm debating this is because if they go ahead and knock out my active Arceus using something like Meloetta, which is, I don't know yet if they're playing the Fusion Strike build. I don't know if they're playing double turbo energy. So I decide to play it safe. I get the second Arceus because you really need Arceus in this matchup. As much as you want Duraludon, they do have ways to deal with the ability there using like something like Max Miracle. So I go play it safe. I get the second Arceus. I don't really do too much else. I have an Ultra Ball for next turn so I can get the Arceus V-Star, and that'll let me get my double turbo energy, all that kind of stuff. My opponent here, they go ahead, they have the double battle VIP pass, which of course they do. Why would they not? It's my luck, so you know they're gonna have the double VIP pass, and they also play a Quick Ball at the same time. They're going to fill their bench to 5 instantly, which is absolutely insane. That is kind of just the power of Mew. When they get those opening hands, there's really not much you can do about it. That's something that is challenging about the Pokemon trading card game, right? There's no counterplay. There's no ability to say, oh, I'm gonna stop my opponent from playing those battle VIP passes or using this ability. So you know, they're just going to go ahead and get that going. And they drop down the power tablet and a switch. So you can't really see their bench Pokemon, which is a little unfortunate. I didn't know that at the time. They have Mew. I think they have like 3 Genesects, a Mew, and maybe 2 Mews or something like that. I really wish I was able to see their bench. I apologize for that. It's one of the challenges of doing these local games. You don't really get to see everything the way you want to. They Fortunately, flip tails on a cram. You know they want to look for something like a, like a Elisa Sparkle. They want to find a Fusion Strike energy. That's the kind of stuff they're going to look for. They go cram again. Get rid of the power tablet. They fail. Very, very lucky because the choice belt and the power tablet are in play. They would be able to knock out this Arceus very, very easily. So they accelerate energy to the Meloetta and a benched Mew V. They got the Lost City in play. I don't really care about that. They really only played it just to thin out their hand a little bit so they can draw with Genesect. And they do whiff the attack, which is always the big scare for something like when you're playing the Fusion Strike Meloetta Mew build. They have the power to do an easy 220, 240, whatever it is, during their first turn because of Meloetta, which is honestly a problem. They get the choice belt, the power tablet. That's 60 extra damage to a Pokemon V. They do go ahead and flip heads on the catcher to bring up this Arceus V, which honestly isn't really that big of a deal because I am able to like Starbirth for a switch or something. So they whiff the attack, I get the draw for turn. You can tell very, very annoyed that they missed that attack. But it works out for me because I don't know what I would have done. I do discard I guess I could have like got a Raihan, got that Metal Energy, and then searched for anything, search for like the Arceus V-Star, and then use the Trinity Starbirth to get 2 other cards. This is something that I would have been able to do, but this was just the easier route, and them not taking any prizes is pretty solid. So I go ahead, attach the DTE from hand, and now I go ahead and use the Starbirth. You see I flip over that V-Star marker, and I get to use Starbirth. Search for any 2 cards I want. I don't remember what I searched for. I think I had Drapion in hand at this point, or if I don't have it in hand, I get it very, very soon. So I don't really have to look for it. I just kind of get to chill and just, I know I searched for a switch. That's one of the cards I searched for. And I think the other might have been Drapion, but see my opponent look into the discard. I'll tell you right now, I never put a Duraludon in play just because I don't want them, now especially since I know they play catchers, I really don't want them to, Pokemon catcher, bring up the Duraludon, get 2 free prizes. Something you have to always be concerned about with Mew is their ability to pull up a bench Pokemon, do a lot of damage between Choice Belt and Power Tablets, and they're already down 2 Power Tablets, and I think there is a Choice Belt attached to one of their Mews, if I'm not mistaken, but again, without being able to see, it's a little hard. They kept their bench very, very close to them, and you can see like mine's pushed up a little bit further. So I go ahead, use the switch card that I had gotten off the Starbirth, and now I get the Chorus. And you can kind of see a little bit what I get from the Chorus. A little hard to tell. With these, I could be a little more casual, I think. But I think that's the Drapion. I just shifted over to the left, and I definitely want to keep it. Just trying to figure out exactly which 3. I kind of want to keep the Arceus V-Star because then I can evolve. It's a little harder for them to knock out. When I attack, I'll be able to, use the Trinity Nova, knock out this Meloetta, which is pretty solid, and then just be able to power up. So I get rid of an Escape Rope, which, spoilers, does come back to haunt me later, but not the end of the world. And I get rid of a Duraludon VMAX. That's 2 of my 3 Duraludons gone. I do run 1 Ordinary Rod, but I decide for now we're not going to put in the Duraludons. We're just going to just stick with the Arceus. We have the Arceus to knock out Mews, all that kind of stuff, and then we have the Drapion to knock out a Mew VMAX to get the last 3 prizes. So really all I have to do is use the benched Arceus. Now that it has 3 metal energies on it, I can boss up a Genesect or a benched Mew V, take 2 prizes, that brings me down to 3, then use Drapion to knock out a Mew VMAX. That's 6. That's kind of the game plan I'm going for. I can't use the Arceus in the active to knock out a Genesect because, well, I only do 180 and they have 190 health, so a little bit annoying on that. This deck does not run something like Choice Belt. They recognize that play and use Boss's orders to bring up that Arceus V-Star. And I still don't think it's that big of a deal. I just don't think I have a boss in hand to respond as quickly as I wanted to. I was kind of hoping they'd go through the Arceus with the DTE, as opposed to bossing up that Arceus with the 3 basic energies. To try to buy me a little time to find the boss's orders, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. They don't have a choice belt attached, so they can use Techno Blasts that are due to 10. They have to get a few damage modifiers to knock out this Arceus. So I guess we'll see if they do, because I do not remember, despite the fact that this was yesterday at the time of my voiceover here. You see they flip heads on Cram-O-Matic, which a little, you know, now they're starting to flip some heads. They flip 2 tails, now they flip 2 heads. So they have 2 power tablets in deck. And so I know they don't have any in hand. I don't know what they go for. I guess we'll just have to find out together. It shouldn't be a power tablet. Choice Belt is, they just go ahead and use it, and it looks like, I think they declare their attack for the Techno Blast, probably. Well, they might not have done it just yet, but they've already used their supporter. They might just be looking to draw a few cards with Genesect. You can barely see the tip of the Genesect on the bench there, and they do attack, so putting quite a few damage counters onto this Arceus. I don't like it. So yeah, 240, that means they use Techno Blast. The nice thing about Techno Blast is that they can't use they can't attack with this active Mew during their next turn, so they have to retreat into something else. Not really that big of a problem for Mew, because they do often run at least a few switch outs. Now we know they got rid of at least 1 switch card, but it's going to be pretty easy if they have a DTE to just free retreat into another Mew VMAX on the bench, and then they go ahead and use the attack on the other one. So really not that big of a deal. I go ahead and get a quick ball. I think I'm just trying to thin the deck. I'm 95% sure I have Drapion in the hand already. And part of the reason that I use this quick ball, I don't remember exactly when I played Drapion. I think I actually played it this turn, but I kind of want them to think that I don't have it. You would think that in a matchup like this, if I had the Drapion, when I played the quick ball, I would go ahead and get it, and I don't. I fail. I play the Ultra Ball. I don't know why I lost zoned the quick ball and the Temple of Sinnoh. I decided I don't need the Temple of Sinnoh, even though yes, the Fusion Strike energy is special energy. It's not very helpful because the Cross Fusion Strike on the Mew VMAX is for double colorless, and even if I take those special energies, those Fusion Strike energies, and turn them into 2 colorless energies, they're still able to attack. Would it have been somewhat helpful if I use it to knock out or like to turn off a DTE? Yeah, probably. You see there, I do bench the Drapion, retreat into the Arceus, attach an energy, and now I'm just going to go ahead and use the Dynamic Tail on the Drapion. And I'm not sure where to put this damage. This is a really tough thing. If I put it on, I don't want to put it onto the Arceus that has damage because it'll get KO'd, and I don't want to put it onto the benched Arceus because I probably need it to win the game later. So in their huge hand, at this point they have a couple of cards in hand and they're going to be able to draw pretty easily. I was confident that they would be able to, if they didn't have they just need 1 damage modifier, right? Drapion has 220 health, Fusion Blast, the Techno Blast does 210. So they just need 1 damage modifier, and that would be a Choice Belt or a Power Tablet, either one. I know they have at least 2 Power Tablets remaining, assuming they aren't prized. Reviewing this, we see them in deck, so we know that they're in deck, and I don't want to say I made the right call. Who's to say if they had it in hand, but I decided to put it on the Drapion, figuring they're going to get that damage modifier, because even with the DTE, that knocks them down to 190, and with the Choice Belt, that brings them back up to 220, or the Power Tablet brings them back up to 220. So it is enough to take a KO if I didn't put it on Drapion. So I think my opponent was that's their deck. That's not their hand. I'm pretty sure that's their deck. If it is their hand, that is enormous. Oh yeah, they used Ultra Ball. I was just reminding him that the Mew, V, and VMAX go into the Lost Zone because of Lost City. Even though I put my Quick Ball and Temple of Sinnoh in there. So he's looking through the deck. You know he's got those power tablets. Probably just going to thin out the deck. Not a lot of cards remaining. Mew draws pretty heavily. And yeah, I do ultimately think I made the right call in terms of putting the damage onto the Drapion. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe when he makes his draws, he whiffs the damage. If he does, then I made the wrong choice, and I would have been able to just attack again and win. If he did find a damage modifier, then putting it on the Drapion is the right choice. Spoilers, I won this game. I went 4-0. So every game I show from this week's locals, I did win. They didn't have to play the damage modifier, so I don't know if they got it. There's a chance that they didn't, but we just send up this Arceus here. I only have 2 prizes left, and what I wanted to do, my plan was to play Raihan. Use Raihan to get the energy onto the benched Arceus V-Star. Then I would search for the escape rope that I have, because all they have on their bench is Genesect V and Mew V. So anything they send up with the escape rope would be the game. But I did Lost Zone it. So remember at the beginning I said that Lost Zone in the escape rope would come back to haunt me. This is exactly that scenario. So a little unfortunate. So it takes me an extra turn to win the game. If I ran 2 escape ropes, or if I ran, whatever, I would have been okay. But we use the Raihan, and I do get a boss's orders for next turn. I'm really hoping that they don't Judge or Marnie or Roxanne me. That would be really problematic. But I just say, I'm going to cover my bases. I'm going to plan for next turn. And I'm going to just attack with the Arceus. And one of 2 things is going to happen. Either they're going to attack back and I win, or they retreat and I can boss it up, or they Psychic Leaf back into the deck next turn. Whatever they do, I will be able to, like if they Psychic Leaf right now and they promote anything, I will just be able to boss up something that has more health or has less health, and I'll be able to knock it out with the benched Arceus. They're not really able to do too much here. I do elect to put a few energies onto the benched, to the active Arceus V-Star. And the reason I do that is because of a potential Hyper Potion play. Remember, Arceus Duraludon decks do play Hyper Potion. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to put the DTE, put some energies onto that Arceus so that I can discard the DTE in case they do exactly this and knock out my Arceus that has the 3 energies. I can, do something like that, try to heal. But doesn't really happen this way. So what I don't remember exactly what I do. Oh, I think they have a Mew V on the bench because they use Psychic Leap. So I have the boss and I just boss up the Mew, able to do the 180, and that is the game. So there you have it. That was actually my round 2 number game. What? That was actually my round 2 game. And again, thank you to everybody at Illustrious Cards Games for hosting these local events, for showing up, and for allowing me to record. Wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you next time.